Hey, what's up, y'all? Ever looked at your paycheck and wonder, where did all my money go? Today, we're diving into an unbelievable story that might change the way you think about your finances. Believe it or not, there was once a time when income tax wasn't even a thing. Imagine getting your entire paycheck, every cent, with no deductions from Uncle Sam. Today, we'll explore that golden era and trace the evolution of income tax, from simple tariffs to the complex system we live now. Plus, later on, I'll update you on some buzz about presidential proposals that might change things once again. Let's jump in, y'all. Let's rewind to the early 1800s. In those days, the government didn't dip into your paycheck at all. Instead, Uncle Sam collected revenue through tariffs, taxes on imported goods, liquor taxes, and yet, even tea taxes. Imagine the freedom of receiving every dollar you earn. People could spend it on their favorite boots or the latest invention without worrying about a taxman lurking over their shoulder. The idea was simple and indirect. Tax the goods coming in rather than your very personal income. It wasn't perfect, but compared to today's maze of forms, it sure felt like a breath of fresh air. Fast forward to 1861, when the nation was plunged into the Civil War. War is expensive. Armies don't fight themselves. The government suddenly needed cash, and they decided to try something new: a direct tax on personal income. They introduced a 3% tax on income over $800, an amount at that back then meant you were among the well-to-do. This was intended solely as a wartime measure to fund the conflict. But here's the twist. Once the war ended in 1872, they repealed that tax. For a brief period of time, Americans experienced life with a genuine taste of tax freedom. It was as if the government had borrowed your money temporarily and then returned it. After the Civil War came the Gilded Age, a time of rapid industrial growth, massive fortunes, and what some might call robber barons like Rockefeller and Carnegie. During this era, the majority of everyday Americans continued to enjoy those tax-free paychecks while the wealthy were stacking cash. Yet, as inequality grew, the idea of taxing the rich began to make more noise. In 1894, Congress tried to reintroduce an income tax, this time 2% rate on income above $4,000. But in 1895, the Supreme Court shut it down, citing that the tax wasn't properly apportioned among the states. In essence, the experiment failed. And for a while, the prospect of taxing income faded into the background. Then came 1913, a pivotal year in American history. With the passage of the 16th Amendment, the Constitution was amended to grant the federal government permanent power to tax income. This wasn't meant to be a temporary fix. It was here to stay. It was here to stay. Initially, it targeted only the super rich, but it quickly evolved into the backbone of the federal revenue as the country faced World War I and later World War II. Tax rates shot up, and what was once a fleeting wartime measure became a fixture of everyday life. We went from the blissful days of keeping our whole paycheck to the era of filing mountains of paperwork every year. It was a monumental shift in how the government and the people interacted financially. Now, fast forward to today. The modern tax system is a complex maze of brackets, deductions, credits, and endless forms. And at the heart of it all is the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, our modern-day tax boss. Picture the IRS as the ultimate video game boss who shows up every April, You handed a stack of forms and you expected to navigate a labyrinth of W-2s and 1099s, hoping you don't trigger the dreaded audit. You know what's wild though? This whole idea of getting rid of income tax isn't even that new. Politicians have been tossing this idea around like a hot potato for decades. Every few years, someone is like, hey, what if we just didn't tax your income anymore? And then someone else is like, cool idea, bro. But how are we going to pay for, roads, schools, the military, Wi-Fi on airplanes? And then the idea usually dies faster than my motivation on Monday mornings. But you gotta admit, the fantasy is tempting. Like, imagine every single paycheck you've ever gotten and you just get to keep all of it. No deductions, no tax forms, no weird penalty attack when you realize you lost a W-2 form 2 days before the deadline. Just straight up, you work for it, you keep it. End of story. That would basically be like the real life version of finding cheat codes for adulthood. Pay rent? No problem. Save for a house? Easy. Go to Starbucks and actually not care that your iced coffee costs $7. Living the dream. But until that happens, taxes aren't going anywhere. Not unless some billionaire sponsors the whole country like it's a Formula One car. Welcome to the United States, brought to you by Amazon Prime. Hey, stranger things happens. Before we wrap it up, here's a hot update in the ongoing tax saga. Lately, there's been some buzz that the president might be exploring proposals to get rid of the federal income tax for many Americans, at least for those earning under a certain threshold. The idea is to ease the financial burden on everyday folks by potentially eliminating income tax for people earning below a specific amount. Of course, to make up for the lost revenue, other forms of taxes like tariffs or alternative levies might come into play. But remember, these proposals are still under discussion. Experts are skeptical about whether tariffs alone can replace income tax revenue, and there's plenty of debate in Congress. While it's exciting to imagine a future where your paycheck isn't trimmed at the source, nothing is set in stone just yet. So there you have it, the roller coaster evolution of income tax. We went from a time of full paychecks and simple tariffs to the complex, sometimes maddening system we deal with today. We've seen war, constitutional change, and modern debates that even hint at a future tax revolution. If you enjoyed this dive into tax history, give this video a like and don't forget to subscribe and drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think we might one day see a world without income tax, or is that just wishful thinking? Until next time, keep those receipts safe. And remember, history might be complicated, but it sure makes a great story, y'all.